When it comes to timeless styles, lasting values, and classic designs that span generations, it's hard to do better than a Rolex. Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to WatchYouWant.com. Today we're going to be looking at the Rolex Datejust II 116300, which proves that while Rolex styles may be timeless and its models may be immortals, Rolex's reputation in watchmaking history is as an innovator, first and foremost. They were first with a mass-market viable waterproof case. They were the first to popularize the automatic winding watch, the first to pair an automatic winding system with a day and a date indication, the first with a GMT pilot's watch with bidirectional rotating bezel, and yes, in 1945, with the original Datejust, they were the first to pair an automatic winding watch with a jump date. In 2009, the sequel came, and it was worth the wait. This is the 116300 Datejust II. This is a G-series watch that we have here, and I'm just going to go over a few of the essential features of the watch, what ties it to the original classic Datejust, and then what sets the Datejust II apart for those who are looking for something classic in essence, but modern and distinctive in detail. Well, the Datejust II, first and foremost, is a larger case than the classic Datejust. Although the sizes have varied over the years, today the Datejust means a 36mm case for men, and the Datejust II, as you see here, is a 41mm case. Now, in both cases, you have an automatic winding watch with a date, simple three-hand time. What sets this watch apart is that the case lines, in addition to being larger, change a little bit. Now, in this case, the watch is mounted on an alternately brushed and polished, flanks polished, center links polished, flanks of outer links brushed, oyster bracelet with a milled clasp. I'm just going to get into a bit about how the clasp differs. Historically, most of the Datejusts of the old generation were paired with a Jubilee bracelet, which was a 5-link design that was a little bit more delicate than the oyster, maybe not as butch and macho, a little bit more dress-oriented. Now, with the Datejust II, you can get this oyster bracelet, which is a little bit more in line with the classic Rolex look that people associate today with their sports watches, the oyster case Submariner, the Sea Dweller, the GMT, the Milgauss. So not only do you have that larger case that's just a little bit thicker with lug spacing that's a little bit broader, but you have a tapered, alternating finish oyster bracelet tied to a milled oyster clasp. Now, if you remember the stamped clasps historically used on the Datejust, they were elegant, but they weren't particularly robust. In the hand, they didn't feel like bank vaults. Now, thanks to the new oyster clasp design, that has very much been remedied. So what you have here is actually a clasp that is milled out from a solid ingot of steel, and it feels the part. When you close it, it snaps loud, and it holds fast. Very nice. Great to feel, great to wear, very secure, inspires confidence. And it has Rolex's Easy Link system, which allows you to add or subtract 5mm of length. So if, in the course of vigorous activity, a hot day, if you gain a little, lose a little, if you give the watch as a gift, it's easy to size minutely without depending on a jeweler to take out links or half links. And that's a great feature to have. It's a nice feature of the milled clasp, so in addition to that solidity and security, you get a little bit of convenience built in as well. Now, the entirety preserves everything that's great about the historic Datejust, while adding a little bit of legibility. If you're getting a little older, or if you're a young man who prefers the bigger, bolder vogue for large watches, the, circa 1992 to present predilection for very big timepieces, but you don't want to go overboard and you want to stay Rolex, the Datejust II is an ideal solution. So for young or old, or if you're a woman who prefers a bigger, bolder case, likes to wear a men's watch with some robust wrist presence, this is an ideal option. I don't really think there's anyone who couldn't wear this watch well. I think it really depends entirely on your tastes. This particular unit right here has a beautiful Soleil pattern metallic dial radiating out from the cannon pinion. You can see that light playing across the dial. There you go. Fighting the lights in here, but you can see that this is not a matte finish. It's textured. It's reflective, it's very beautiful, and when paired with the white gold hands, the white gold applied coronet, Rolex symbol at 12, and the white gold luminescent indexes, it really shows to great effect. And historically, the smaller Rolex Datejust always seemed a little bit overwhelmed by the Cyclops Eye magnifier in the middle of the dial. It's legible, but it's also crowded. The Datejust 2 doesn't have that shortcoming, I would say. 40 millimeters on the sub, it can work. 40 millimeters on the GMT, it works. 41 millimeters on the Datejust 2, it looks just right. The Cyclops eye is very much at home here without drowning out the rest of the details or crowding space. Now the watch wears very nicely on the wrist. It feels roughly like a Milgauss. Actually wears, I would say, a little bit smaller than a Submariner because the case proportions aren't quite as overbearing as the new super case subs and GMTs, so it has a very refined wrist presence as well. Crafted as always in Rolex's proprietary 904L stainless steel, it takes and holds a polish and a brushed finish better than the generic industry 316 steel used by competitors. So not only are you getting a better watch from Rolex, but they control every part of the process, from the dial to the hands to the movement to the case to the bracelet. They want to ensure that you get the best. That's why, among other assets, they own their own foundry where they smelt their own gold and they make their own steel. Inside is a Rolex 3136 chronometer grade movement, anti-magnetic, highly shock resistant, very accurate with 50 hours of power reserve and a jump date feature. It's all you'll ever need, and it's based on a family of Rolex movements that spanned a generation and proven its mettle everywhere up to and including combat. So the bottom line is what you're getting is a tried and true package with a modern take on size, detailing, proportions that wear thoroughly contemporary. Check it out on our website, watchyouwant.com. This is the Rolex 116300 Datejust II with a Soleil pattern blue metallic dial, available with all papers, accessories, original documentations of provenance, Rolex factory manuals, even the original hang tag. It's an outstanding showroom condition. Everything you would get from a Rolex authorized dealer, you will get with this Rolex Datejust II. Check it out, and if you're into Rolex, I'm confident that when you see this, especially that Soleil pattern blue dial, you'll be convinced this is the watch you want.